Okay, so now after sharing my story, I would like to actually give the main principles of advice on dealing with anxiety when dealing with, I guess, depression, fear, and so it's a lot. There's a lot of areas I would suggest that people cover. Like I said and mentioned in the previous video, it was you had to you have to acknowledge your mindset, your physical diet, your physical self, um, the thoughts you have, the people you're with, etc., etc. There's a lot that you should look at because the thing of anxiety, it's an entire problem. It's not just one thing that's causing it. Chances are that it's multiple things causing it. And what I advocate is that is what the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who is one of my favorite teachers and the best teacher that got me out of my problems, which is that peace is inside us. Peace is available inside us. You don't need a God. You don't need uh, a lover. You don't need your friends. And you don't need to rely on anybody to be at peace. Peace is in here and it's in the present moment. Do not give that power away to anybody or anything. Peace is not in music. Peace is not in art, or because that's an ability you can lose. You can lose the ability to draw, to do art, to run, to walk, etc., etc. Not that those things don't have merit. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the mindset that people should take on, which is that peace is available in each and every one of us, because that's real power. That's empowering. To say that I can reach inwards and I don't need to rely on a medication or literally anything else, because that's how I've succeeded, is finding it inside. So I guess I'll talk about mindset first. When you're dealing with anxiety, chances are you're not having good thoughts. Chances are you're not having good self talk. So, one of the things that I would literally advise people to do every day is at least, like, definitely like 3 times a day, because when it comes to self care, it has to be like brushing your teeth. It has to be like multiple times a day, every day, not just today, not just tomorrow, not just next week. It's not a one time thing. It's you have to build yourself up. It's easier for me now, but there were definitely times where I had to practice it consistently, day to day to day to day to day, and sometimes it felt like a lot. But I stand by it, and I still do those things. Not as intense, but it's because it's easier for me now because I am stronger. But yes, definitely. You have got to foster. You have got to care for a positive mindset every day. And I don't mean to be like talking about rainbows and unicorns, like that's not what I mean. I mean sincere, like goodness, things like your dreams, what do you want? How do you want to be? You know, who's the person that you want to be? Chances are you want good things. Chances are you want to be a great person. You want to be good. And those are good things. And you should remind yourself of those every day, 3 times a day, when you wake up, in the middle of the day, and before you go to sleep. And this is to build up your mindset because, again, people with anxiety often have very poor mindsets, as I had, and as I continue to see. People think they're not good enough. People think they're ugly. People think that they're any sort of put down. You see it a lot, and you hear it a lot. And so yeah, my advice is write down things like you tell yourself, write as an exercise, write down right now, who do you want to be? Who are you? And not about career, but I mean, what kind of person do you want to be? One of the things that I would suggest is, or one of the things that I would say is that I want to be brave. I don't want to be afraid. I want to take my life back. I want to live my life um, as peacefully as I can. and I want to enjoy my life as much as I can, and I want to become the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And I would say anybody tell themselves those same things 3 times a day. And another thing that I would suggest people do is gratitude. Gratitude goes a long way with happiness and being happy. Taking stock of what we have. We're often so busy that we're not grateful for the really good things that we have in life. And yes, I am talking about family, and yes, I am talking about things like a bed and a home. But um, what I don't hear people really being grateful for is the things that I was taught from the Buddhist monk, which is you have to be grateful for the things that you have in you, you know, because inside all of us, most of us, we take for granted the gifts of sight, of hearing, our hands, our feet, our brains, our lungs. These things inside us um, provide so much happiness. Forget about material, forget about having a home. Your eyesight, you get to enjoy like the blue sky, you get to enjoy wonderful pieces of art, movies, beautiful faces, faces of your family, beautiful messages, color, the way light hits on things. Eyesight provides so much beauty to us. Hearing, you know, with that we can hear the voices of our family, the voices of our friends, sounds of the animals, the sounds of the world, whether it be machines or the rumblings that are constantly going on. Music, for God's sakes. All your different favorite bands, so many different favorite bands, so many different favorite songs, so many different artists. You get to enjoy all that literally just because of your hearing. And again, I would go through this with, your things, your hands. What can you do with your hands? Work, draw, play guitar, um, eat. Those are big things. These are what the Buddhist, what Thich Nhat Hanh referred to as the conditions of happiness. Because often we have these things at our disposal, and we don't, and we're not grateful for them, and yet they provide so much happiness. Um, and if you're having a bad day, if you have like a toothache or something, if you have a stomach ache, you know, you still, there's still a bright side. There's still a lot of bright side, because while you have a stomach ache, yeah, it sucks, but you still have your eyesight, you still have your hearing, you still have your hands. And the point of this is to shift your mind into um, weighing out the good with the bad, because these things are inseparable. There will always be bad with the good. There's always going to be that. That's never going to go away. So it's better to feed the good part inside of you, and to see the good in the world, to see the good that you have. And I stand by it. I definitely practice that all the time. It's helped me tremendously to be grateful, to see the good that I have and in the world. Because most of the time, we have more good than bad. And that's the way that I would advise everybody to think and to practice it every day. The conditions of happiness, the list of gratitude that I advised. Write those things down. You know, eyesight, hearing, brain, hands, feet, lungs. Write why you're grateful for those things, and tell yourself these things 3 times a day, when you wake up, in the middle of the day, and before you go to sleep. Just read that list, and those are things that you can always refer to for things that you're grateful for. And again, it's just true, and I'm a huge advocate that gratitude is incredibly important for peace and happiness. And that'll conclude this video.